Continuing now on Newsmax Prime with a story we briefly mentioned earlier in the program. Fox News reporting tonight that emails transmitted on Hillary Clinton's unsecured server contained intelligence from our government's most secretive and most highly classified programs. According to an unclassified letter from a top inspector general to senior members of Congress and the Senate, there were, quote, several dozen additional classified emails, including specific intelligence with a level of classification beyond even top secret. We need to take this topic up with two gentlemen on our national security panel. Joining us via telephone from Washington, former CIA analyst Fred Fleitz. Fred, of course, now the vice president of the Center for Security Policy. And from Newsmax, Washington, former Defense Department spokesman J.D. Gordon, now of J.D. Gordon Communications. Fred Fleitz, we hear this is a level even higher than top secret. How much damage could this have done to our national security?
Well, it's good to be here, J.D. It could have done significant damage. There is a lot of intelligence above top secret in compartments and with special classification caveats. And what this indicates to me is that it's just further evidence that Hillary Clinton and her husband just treat the law and rules as inconveniences that don't apply to them. We heard an earlier report that Sidney Blumenthal had basically sent her an email that apparently was based on very sensitive intelligence about the government of Sudan. This is just more evidence of that.
J.D. Gordon, you were the spokesman at the Pentagon. Back before you and I were born, the old saying was loose lips sink ships. Do you think this revelation puts Mrs. Clinton's freedom at risk? I mean, if they play this by the book, she tweeted out the other day, no one is too big to be jailed. Does this add another log to the fire in terms of her criminal exposure?
Hi, Jay. Good to see you. I think it does. I think that she could be prosecuted under the Espionage Act for gross negligence. Catherine Herridge at Fox News did an excellent report here. You know, when I was a Pentagon spokesman, I'd work with her quite often. She came to Guantanamo with us many times. This is an excellent piece of breaking news. It's excellent journalism to find this letter and to let the American people know. Because, you know, for those top secret emails that Hillary Clinton was exchanging on her server, we're talking about things like information about North Korea's nuclear program. I mean, she says those things were retroactively not classified. How could you not think that information about North Korea's nuclear program is not classified? So yeah, I think this is another log on the fire on why Hillary Clinton should be prosecuted. I tell you what, JD, if I did this when I was a Pentagon spokesman, I had my own private server with 1,300 classified emails, I'd be in jail right now.
Yeah, and Fred Fleitz, when you were at the CIA, could you have gotten away with something like this?
Oh, no, J.D. is exactly right. I don't think anyone else in this country could possibly get away with this. And bear in mind, the whole purpose of this server was to evade federal records laws. Even unclassified emails by Clinton were constituted a federal record. Clinton didn't want to have to turn them over under these laws, so she created this special system, which we now know was also being used to transmit classified information. I think this is a major scandal, and any other normal human being in this country would be prosecuted for it.
Let us turn to a story that, in one sense, we're gratified. In another sense, I think it creates more consequences. That's the story of Iran releasing those Americans that were held, including a veteran of the United States Marine Corps, Amir Hekmati. He talked to reporters upon his release. Let's watch and listen.
It feels great. I feel very lucky. Like I said, I feel alive for the first time. It's like being born again, and I just really feel proud to be an American.
I think everybody's happy to have these guys back, but it literally came at a high price. Fred, billions of dollars. I want to get your take, both you gentlemen, on this. 30 seconds to you first, Fred. Too high price, too great a price?
I'm happy they're back. It was a high price, and we also paid $500,000 ransom per head through the government of Oman.
And the consequence, J.D. Gordon, now does every American traveling abroad, in essence, have a bounty on their head? 30 seconds.
JD, I think Fred is absolutely right. I mean, the price was so high. To me, this reminds me of a Bo Bergdahl type of trade. And you know what? You're right, JD. Every single American traveling now has a bounty on their head. Governments like Iran are going to want to try to capture people just so they can get a ransom. And you know, the other thing that's ironic here, of the 4 Americans we got back, they were dual nationals. The only one who is not Iranian is still there. So I think people ought to wake up to that too.
That, of course, Mr. Levinson, and that is to be continued as we see what his fate may have been or may yet be. J.D. Gordon at Newsmax, Washington, Fred Fleitz via telephone. Gentlemen, you have our thanks. You heard what they had to say. Agree or disagree? Send me your comments at newsmaxtv.com/comments. And could it be a Donald Trump jam? You'll hear it when we come back.